They say in life, when it's all said and done, more is said than done. And that's not true in Bob's case. In Bob's life, there is more done than is said. And what I really admire about Bob is the balance that he has in his life, the balance between career, family and friends, and community. And it's an extraordinary life, extraordinarily well lived.
Well, I think Bob is the best. I mean, he's got all the right value systems. He's somebody you want to be a friend with because he's somebody you could always count on.
Decency, integrity, concern about his fellow citizens, and concern about the community.
Well, Bob has always been in the front of any civic issues. He's always led New Detroit. He's always had great concerns about Detroit. He's been a leader at Cranbrook. He's been a leader in medical issues. And if there's ever a need anywhere civically, Bob Larson is usually in the front of the line.
Herman Melville, who wrote, "We cannot live ourselves alone. Our lives are connected by 1,000 invisible threads. And along these sympathetic fibers, our actions run as causes and return to us as results." The key words being, we cannot live ourselves alone. Bob Larson has understood that throughout his life, and as a result, made a decision somewhere along the way to share, to care, to dare, to make a difference.
I think Bob's contributions to the industry really are twofold. The one for which he's best known is helping build one of the great real estate companies in the industry, that being the Taubman Companies. I think possibly less well known and maybe even underappreciated is his public service to the industry. I think most important here is his service on the board of the Resolution Trust Corporation. This was a potential catastrophe for the industry, and he served selflessly to really help us through a very difficult time in real estate, and he's to be congratulated for it.
He is passionate. He is passionate about the future, about leadership, about possibilities for community building.
Bob is a really, really unique man. And as a zoologist, I'm not trained in poetry, so I won't even try to be poetic, but I think there are several things that really stand out. He's a man of incredible warmth and sophistication and wisdom.
Bob Larson has epitomized high ethics in the world of business and also in the world of politics, insisting on these standards. It's involved his attitude towards campaign contributions. So whether it's been in his business activities or in his political or other public life, he has said ethics really do matter.
You know, Bob's just he's a larger-than-life figure in the real estate industry. This is a huge industry, 15% of the GDP of the country, and yet it has produced relatively few people who are widely viewed as leaders in our business on a national scale. And I think what sets Bob apart is he's viewed by everyone in our industry uniformly as not only a great guy, but someone who's well respected for his leadership skills, his insight, his judgment.
I think Bob is probably one of the most extraordinary people I've ever had the privilege of knowing closely. I could count on the fingers of one hand those people, and he certainly would be one of them.
Bob's impact on Kresge was both as an exemplary board member and as someone who brought huge creativity and commitment on particular issues to the table.
What Bob brought to the industry was a professionalism, a knowledge as to how things should be done and how they should be done properly. And he became a role model for all of those of us who had the opportunity to work with him.
Bob's contribution to ULI has been absolutely amazing. I've been at the helm here for 15 years, and Bob has been extremely active during that whole time. In fact, I believe he's been on the executive committee pretty much that whole time. And, you know, again, Bob's thoughtfulness, Bob's presence in these meetings has always just brought a new dimension that if he weren't there, just wouldn't wouldn't happen.
The way I would describe Bob Larson is in 2 words. For me, Bob Larson is the gold standard. The best that you can possibly want.
Our deep commitment as a foundation to the work of organizations and institutions committed to the revitalization of Detroit clearly was one of Bob's most deeply held values, particularly the work along the riverfront and the revitalization of the riverfront.
In the real estate industry alone, Bob is a giant. I mean, the difference being president of the Taubman Company and the vast achievements that he has in that company, being a partner in real estate with Lazard, managing real estate on an international basis.
You have to have 2 things to lead. One, you have to have ability, and secondly, you have to have passion for what you're doing. He gets A's in both of those categories.